God's covenant continued, not through Abraham alone, but through his promised son, Isaac. Knowing his life was drawing to a close, Abraham sent his trusted servant to find a wife for Isaac among his own relatives. The servant traveled hundreds of miles to Mesopotamia, trusting that God would guide every step. At a village well, the servant prayed for a sign, and Rebekah arrived at that very moment. Her kindness fulfilled the servant's prayer, revealing God's hand in choosing Isaac's future wife. Abraham's servant traveled from Hebron to Mesopotamia, a journey of nearly 800 kilometers, to find the woman God had chosen for Isaac. Abraham lived many more years, watching God's promises unfold through Isaac and the growing household. At 175 years old, Abraham died in a good old age, full of years. Together, Isaac and Ishmael buried Abraham beside Sarah in the cave of Machpelah. After Abraham's death, God blessed Isaac, confirming that the covenant would continue through him. Abraham's journey had ended, but God's covenant had only begun its next chapter through Isaac. From Ur to the Promised Land, Abraham walked by faith for decades. His journey ended at Hebron. For 20 years, Rebekah remained barren, and Isaac prayed earnestly that God would give them a child. The Lord answered Isaac's prayer, and Rebekah conceived after many years of waiting. As the children struggled within her, Rebekah sought the Lord to understand what was happening. God declared, "Two nations are in thy womb, and the elder shall serve the younger." Esau was born first, covered with red hair, and Jacob followed immediately, holding onto his brother's heel. Isaac's family remained in the southern Promised Land near Beer-lahai-roi and Hebron. As they grew, Esau became a skilled hunter, while Jacob remained among the tents. One day, Esau returned from hunting completely exhausted and desperately hungry. Jacob offered the stew, but only if Esau would give him his birthright. Esau swore the oath and exchanged his birthright for a single meal. Scripture simply concludes, "Thus Esau despised his birthright." These events unfolded in the southern hill country of Canaan, where Isaac's family lived between Beer-lahai-roi and Hebron. Years later, a great famine struck the land, testing Isaac just as it had tested Abraham before him. God told Isaac, "Go not down into Egypt. I will be with thee and bless thee." The Lord blessed Isaac greatly, and his flocks, servants, and harvests increased beyond measure. Jealous of Isaac's wealth, the Philistines stopped the wells that Abraham's servants had dug. Instead of fighting, Isaac chose peace, and God continued to bless him wherever he went. During the famine, Isaac journeyed southwest to Gerar before settling at Beersheba, where God renewed his covenant and blessed him. When Isaac had grown old and his eyesight had failed, he prepared to give his final blessing. Isaac sent Esau into the wilderness to prepare his favorite meal before receiving the blessing. Rebekah remembered God's promise and urged Jacob to prepare the meal instead. To resemble Esau, Jacob wore his brother's clothes and covered his hands with goat skins. Believing Jacob was Esau, Isaac pronounced the covenant blessing upon his younger son. These events took place at Isaac's household near Beersheba, where the covenant blessing passed unexpectedly from father to son. When Esau discovered that Jacob had received the blessing, his anger burned against his brother. To protect Jacob, Isaac and Rebekah sent him north to Haran, far from Esau's anger. Alone in the wilderness, Jacob traveled toward Haran, trusting only in God's promise. That night, Jacob dreamed of a stairway reaching to heaven with angels ascending and descending. Jacob called the place Bethel, For there, God renewed the covenant made with Abraham and Isaac. Jacob left Beersheba and traveled north. At Bethel, God appeared to him in a dream and renewed his covenant. After many days of travel, Jacob finally arrived in the land of Haran. There, Jacob met Rachel, who had come to water her father's flock. Jacob rolled away the great stone covering the well and watered Rachel's flock. Rachel brought Jacob to her father Laban, who welcomed his relative into his home. God had guided Jacob safely to Haran, where the next chapter of his covenant story would begin. Jacob continued north from Bethel until he reached Haran in Mesopotamia, where God began the next chapter of his covenant. The World of Scripture. Follow for Episode 6, Jacob's Years in Haran.